Good evening, everyone. Hopefully, you're safe at home right now. As you can see, I voted. It's Tuesday, March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I got some green on. They're my Gators. I want to deal with a subject that really you can't ignore, and and if you do the research, it's going to be an eye opener for some of you. But I'm just going to go ahead and get into it and make this a short video. But I just want to kind of put this out here and expose this very important truth. The Chinese culture in this in the government has facilitated and allowed their wet markets, their street sale. You have to understand, and then you have to do the research for yourself if you look at it. But their wet markets and their street sales of you know live food, where they kill the animal in front of you and pretty much um, allow you to get the meat in front of you. It's not like it would be, for instance, a clean, nicely washed animal. But these animals are kept in cage on top of cage of animals, and and when I'm talking about food, I'm not talking about like some chickens and some roosters and some hens and like goats and stuff like that. No, I'm talking about bears and raccoons and um, whatever you can think of, bats, you know, all different type of rodents, any 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 animal, and usually these animals, they're leaking blood on each other, urine on each other, the feces on each other, and they usually are they're not clean animals there, and so when you do that, when you don't wash or clean or whatever, um, it produces, of course, disease. And so you got blood mixed with feces and urine and sweat and nasty drainages from one animal to another. You got for instance, you got a bat and um, you know, um, you know, you got all other kinds of animals. They leak in that kind of drainage on each other. It's going to produce disease, and this is what's happening today in China. Not making this up. You go do the research yourself. Um, and such is now being exposed. This is 2020. We can get information now. It's being exposed that this is the reason why a lot of these diseases are originating in China. Ebola, SARS, now here, COVID-19. This is something that happened in 19, and come to find out that this thing here, this COVID-19 had already this COVID um, disease had already existed about 15 years ago and was not of course it was not taken care of, and now here it is back again as a result of course, um, the transmission of infection between several animals that went on to infect the human being right there in China. So, wow. That's so wow. That's all I got to say is wow. So, so the bottom line is the food, it makes you wonder about eating food from China, anything food from China, knowing that the disease, the uncleanliness of and the food preparation and the it just wow, it's mind-boggling thinking about that. But the bottom line is this: do your research, look at it, and you'll see for yourself. If you want to find out where these diseases originated from, all of them, SARS, all of them, they all came from China, and it's because of the poor. It's not like they cleaning these animals, letting these animals, you know, the droplets, and not only that, we got all kind of animals. This documentary, and I'm gonna share a documentary on YouTube now. This shows how these animals basically, urinating and feces dropping on each other. It's just, and it's producing disease, and people there in China are eating all these wild animals, and they just get killed in front of live, with no cleaning, no nothing. And it's just and as a result of that, it's causing disease. I don't know I don't know. Well, I mean, you can't really, the world can't do anything about it because China's a very powerful country. It's not like you can go to war with China and tell them and destroy all their wet markets, but somebody need to speak up for it and let them know that they need to change the way they um, grow their food. And oh my God, I can't believe the fact that they use all these animals. It's not like, it's hard for me to, as an American, to imagine the different variety of animals that they house. I mean, the documentary was talking about how they have bears, and they have, you know, they growing bears, and then the nastiness from the bear dropping on another bear. Just it's disgusting. And this may be, I may be getting it too gross, but the fact is, educate yourself on this. It's very important for you to realize, and you might want to think, once you see this documentary, you might want to think twice about eating food coming from China. I'm sorry, it's just horrific. The fact that these diseases originated from China, and it's simply because of the way they're housing these animals and selling them out on the street, not washing them, but just, and by doing that, they're getting sick. The Chinese are getting sick, and of course, they're spreading these diseases all over the world. This is just devastating and ridiculous. And the Chinese government is doing a poor job of stopping that practice. In fact, they are allowing it to go on, and this is something that's been going on ever since. Um, I mean, they try to keep it hush hush, but I mean, what happens in the dark comes into the light, and so it has been is being exposed, the fact of how they're continuing to allow these different wet markets for food to exist in their country, not to sell pork, not to sell, chicken and stuff like that. But we talking about, you can eat anything you want. You can eat some lion. You want some lion meat? You want some tiger meat? You want snake? You want rodents? Whatever type of meat you want to eat. Bear? You want some bear? You want some, and then they don't wash them, and then they let the blood and the urine and the feces and all that just drip on from one to the next. And as a result of that, it's causing diseases that man don't is difficult for man to cure. So herein lies a disease that this COVID-19 disease was here before. I want to say 15 years ago. Here we are now in 2020 dealing with a disease that China should have dealt with 15 years ago. and then they try to keep stuff hush hush, but now the whole world is affected by it, just like they did with the other outbreaks in the Chinese culture. So we need to think really kind of, take a second thought about eating stuff coming from China. Really need to think about it because uh, finding out this information and educating yourself, you do your own research, you'll find out that there's a lot of bad things going on in those wet markets because because the Chinese government is allowing it to happen. And here we are now, the entire world is faced with stuff that China could have took care of if they had just stopped worrying about looking away from illegal activity of black market selling of, selling of what, bears and tigers and lion. Who wants to eat a lion? Who wants to eat an elephant? But anyway, that's whatever. So I've said enough. Educate yourself and stay safe, stay clean. Y'all have a good day.